Hello again, it's Grandma. I have another story to tell you today, and it's about a sad part of the story and also kind of a happy part of the story. The sad part is that Jesus' friend, Judas, betrayed him, which means he hurt him. He did a hard thing for him. But the good part of the story is that Jesus had all the power to take care of himself, but willingly chose to be betrayed for us. And all of that will become clear with tomorrow's story. But here's a picture of Jesus being betrayed in the Garden of Gethsemane. So let me tell you how this goes. So Jesus said to his disciples, "As you know, the Passover is 2 days away, and the Son of Man," which is the name Jesus used for himself, "will be handed over to be crucified." So he already knew this was going to happen. The chief priests and the elders of the people, the leadership, who were really jealous of Jesus because of all the people who were believing him. Well, anyway, those leaders got together and they planned to arrest Jesus secretly and kill him. They didn't want to do it during the Passover festival because they thought the people might get really angry and cause a big disturbance called a riot. So they were looking for some way to do this in secret. Well, Judas Iscariot, one of the 12 apostles, who was Jesus' good friend, went to the chief priests with the idea in his head to betray Jesus. And the chief priests were delighted to hear this because it's what they wanted, and they promised to give Judas money. They offered him 30 pieces of silver, which was a lot of money, not as much as the talents we talked about yesterday, but a lot of money. So Judas took the money and watched for an opportunity to hand Jesus over to the chief priests. When evening came, they were having the Passover feast, and we'll talk all about that tomorrow, I think. But Jesus said, "Truly, one of you will betray me." And the apostles went around the room saying, "Is it me? Is it me?" And Jesus said, "The one who dipped his hand into the bowl with me will betray me." He said, "The Son of Man will go just as it is written about him, but woe be to the man who betrays the Son of Man. It would be better for him if he had not been born." So what Judas was going to do and what Judas did was a really sad thing for Judas. Then Judas said to Jesus, "Surely you don't mean me?" And Jesus said, "You have said so." And I think what's really interesting here is how kind Jesus was to the person who was setting out to hurt him. So later that night, they went out to the Garden of Gethsemane, and Jesus said a very special prayer, and we'll talk about that another day too. But anyway, Jesus had been praying all night, and in the morning he woke up his disciples, and he was speaking to his apostles when Judas arrived. And Judas arrived with a large crowd who had not guns, but swords and clubs. And Judas had arranged a signal with the chief priests. He said, "The one I kiss is the one you should arrest." And so he went right up to Jesus and said, "Greetings," and kissed Jesus on the cheek. And Jesus replied, "Do what you came for, friend." Again, he was very kind. And the men stepped forward and seized Jesus and arrested him. And one of Jesus' companions, it was actually his apostle Peter, reached for his sword and drew it out and sliced off the high priest's servant's ear. He cut off his ear with his sword. And Jesus said, "Put your sword back, for all who draw the sword will die by the sword. Do you think I cannot call on my Father, and he will at once put at my disposal more than 12 legions of angels? But how then would the scriptures be fulfilled that say it must happen this way?" And then Jesus said to the crowd, backing up, so Jesus took the man's ear and put it back on and healed him. And he still went ahead and helped arrest Jesus, and Jesus performed a miracle. So Jesus said to the crowd, "Am I leading a rebellion that you have come out with swords and clubs to capture me? Every day I sat in the temple courts teaching, and you did not arrest me there. But this has all taken place in secret, so that the writings of the prophets might be fulfilled." And then they arrested him and took him to an illegal court that tried him and found him guilty with reasons to have him killed. But that's more of the story we'll tell later. But tonight I want you to remember that Jesus had the power to stop all the things that are going to happen from happening. But because it was so important that he do them, he did them even though it was really a hard thing for him to do. He loves us, and I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.